Hello, and welcome to Wednesday's World of News and Words of Wisdom. Today, locally, we're going to be talking about Malvo, the sniper boy. Nationally, we'll be talking about Goodall in the NFL. And internationally, we'll be talking about Russia and Ukraine. So let's go. Yes, welcome back. So, starting off, we're going to go to local news about Malvo. If you all will recall, he was the sniper boy or the guy, the little young guy that was 17 years old that was actually working with the sniper in our area, and everyone was terrified. And believe me, I was one of the ones who called in for the white box truck. Every time I saw one, I called in and tried to report it, but we were actually terrorized in this area. And now let's see what they are planning for this young man. He's been in for like 20 years. So now the Maryland courts are going to actually consider a request to allow DC sniper Lee Boyd Malvo a chance for parole. Now, Virginia had already moved his actual sentencing where it was a life without a chance of parole. They changed it to where he now is eligible for parole. And so the attorneys for Malvo is now seeking this in the court of Maryland. And so we'll see. I mean, he was young. He definitely was under the influence of this older man who he considered like a father figure in his life. So, maybe they will take that into consideration again and actually grant him parole. Now, granting him parole does not mean that he will actually get parole because he still will have to go through a parole board if he's trying to be paroled. And, that alone can bring about some issues. So that is what we have locally. Now, what do we have nationally? Let's stop sharing that screen and let's go to what is going on nationally. Now, nationally, we have the NFL, Goodall, says that the league won't tolerate racism or discrimination. Now, why has he stated this? He said that we won't tolerate racism, we won't tolerate discrimination. He said, I found all of the allegations, whether they are based on racism or discrimination or the integrity of our game, all of those to me were very disturbing. So, what allegations was he actually referring to? Okay, let's go and find out what he was referring to. Let's share this screen and let's go because this is Black History Month. We're going to find out some things about what is going on in the NFL. Okay, this is what the issue is. Okay, there was a lawsuit filed by Brian Flores this week in Manhattan federal court against the NFL and three of its teams, the Broncos, Dolphins, Giants, alleging a pattern of racist hiring practices and racial discrimination. So, this is what he is referring to. And basically, he received the filing and he is saying that we're not going to tolerate this. But let's look at some figures to say, okay, did it take this for them to really try to do some things? But let's look at some stats here. Okay, we're going to stop streaming and let's go to some information about this NFL. What is going on? Okay, here are some stats for us. The NFL has how many players? About 1,652 players. Woo! 1,220 are people of color, and they only have what? How many head coaches? Three? Then let's look at the head coaches um, from 2012 to 2021, almost 10 years. This is the number of people of color that were head coaches and general managers. So for that time span, only six general managers were people of color and only 11 coaches, head coaches. Wow. And now you can see that they only have two black NFL presidents. And the first one was appointed in 2020, 2 years ago, and the second one was appointed in 2021. But look at who they are the president of: the Washington Commanders, Jason Wright, and the Baltimore Ravens, Sasha Brown. Okay, so the areas are, kind of liberal, the areas that they're in. So now we kind of understand why there needs to be some things happening. And because this is Black History Month, I hope that it can be resolved and they cannot just talk, but take action and do the necessary things and take the necessary steps to level this playing field totally. Okay. Now, internationally, what is going on? Let's share the screen. Again, what is happening in Ukraine with Russia? Okay, this is what's happening. There is a crisis, and we know that France's uh, PM went to speak with him, the president, Macron. He went to speak to Putin. And also, the UK followed up and was like, "Hey, man, we gotta do something." Pope Francis is saying he wants diplomacy, which he feels is the best option. And right now, Russia is not standing down. He's not standing down. So we're saying what is going to actually happen here. Uh, we know that we can feel the ripple if there is an invasion, Russia invades Ukraine. So we're just going to keep our eye on this and say prayers for Ukraine. That's all we can do at this moment. Say prayers for Ukraine. Now, since this is our first Wednesday's World of News and Words of Wisdom segment, this is our first one. So it's kind of late, and the word of wisdom is supposed to help you get over the hump day. So it really should have been done much earlier. But, we're starting this out trying to be consistent this week. And so we are going to do the best we can and do much better as we continue on. So let's share the words of wisdom. What is the words of wisdom for today? The best way out is always through. This is by Robert Frost. When caught up in an unseemly situation, we usually look for the easy way out, and unfortunately, procrastination is the natural response. This quote serves us with a reminder that perhaps the best route is going through the problem rather than around it. Through the storm, like the eagle flies through the storm. His feathers may get a little ruffled, but he makes it through on the other side. And as a result, You find that good things begin to happen when you cease to delay and beat about the bush and take matters into your hand to resolve them. So let's not procrastinate and let's move forward and do what we need to do to get through it. Don't go around it because going through it, we will learn a lot of lessons that will help us in the long run. So, we're wishing you a wonderful evening, a wonderful morning, a wonderful afternoon, a wonderful night, depending on where you are in the world. Be blessed and peace unto you.